Let's continue to check on how today's special voting is progressing. Pule Letshwiti-Jones is in Centurion, Monique Mortlock is in Kimberley, and Kgosi is in Mbombela in Mpumalanga. Let's start with you, Pule. You're in Centurion, where the ANC's Tshwane Chairperson Kgosi Maepa is expected to cast his special vote today. Of course, lots of questions for him.
Well, definitely, Maseko, a lot of questions for the chairperson, Kgosi Maepa, especially because there hasn't been so much of favoritism within his own caucus, within the Tshwane ANC. There's also been some names that have endorsed, that have been thrown onto the table and endorsed, such as the likes of Kgosi, Frans Bushilo, REC member, the ANC, who could likely be contesting for that mayoral candidate position for the ANC in Tshwane, when those names are being taken to the REC. But let's look at the historical political background of Tshwane. This will be the battlefield as to how opposition parties as well will be contesting to actually get their way into council. We're looking at the likes of Action SA, where they fielded Abel Tawu, former DA member, and of course the Tshwane interim mayor as well, who will be representing Action SA. The DA hasn't had that much of luck on their side since 2016, where we've seen the introduction of about 3 mayors, who is now Solim Simanga, member of the provincial legislature, and then in battle Stephen Mukhalapa, and then now Randall Williams has had to come up with a turnaround strategy to ensure that the party's political clout stands and that they win some of those votes. We've seen the likes of the Deputy President, David Mabuza, campaigning all over Atteridgeville and Mamelodi, saying that they want to win Tshwane back and they need it back. We've also now seen the DA leader, John Steenhuisen, saying that they can still remain in power. Despite the unfavorable DA-EFF coalition in the metro, they are of the view that they have to be given another chance. But we've seen a lot of challenges that have been going on, Maseko, such as disputes in council, where the adjustment budget was once upon a time delayed, meaning service delivery was hampered. And that was around 2018. 5 council meetings disrupted due to political squabbles. And the EFF has had its way in terms of making decisions with the ANC and the DA in council. So those are the political dynamics in this metro, and it will be quite interesting to hear actually from Kgosi Maepa as to how keen is he on ensuring that he wants to become a mayor, and is it still the right time for him to actually step up to power as well and lead Tshwane under this administration when it goes into power, and if it goes into power.
All right, Pule, let's go to Monique Mortlock, who is in the Northern Cape. Monique, tell us exactly where you are in the Northern Cape and what the IEC is saying. Are they saying they're ready despite some hiccups yesterday?
Yes, I'm outside the IEC's Results Operations Centre here in Kimberley. Inside, IEC officials are hard at work, just checking up on the different voting stations where special voting is taking place. A little earlier, when we spoke to the IEC's Electoral Matters Manager here in the province, Alkan Topkin, he was telling us that the first day of special voting started off with a couple of hiccups, but this was expected, as it usually happens on the first day of special voting. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about how that first day went and how the rest of today has been going.
To be honest with you, it didn't go that smoothly. We experienced a couple of hiccups in the opening times. This time around, it's much better, it's so much more improved, and this gives us an indication of what to expect tomorrow. Today, out of the 621 stations, the majority of them opened on time. We have a few, and there were reasons why they couldn't open on time as well. But it's all systems go for us. We are ready. As for tomorrow, we have the 728 stations across the province to cater for the 623,000 registered population. All our ballot papers are intact. It's in place. It's been distributed to the offices. In terms of staffing, we've engaged just over 6,000 members of the commission to serve the public. And in addition to that, although we don't have hotspots in the province, we've also contracted men of the cloth, about 28 of them, right across the 26 municipalities, should there be electoral conflict that arise. And we would like to believe that they would make a difference in those areas. So from the Commission's point of view, I don't think we can be better prepared as what we currently are.
All right, let's go to Lindo Kgosi now, who is in Mbombela in Mpumalanga. Lindo, when we spoke earlier, you said things were going smoothly in that area. Is this still the case?
That's still the case, Masejo. Things are still going smoothly. We haven't had any information of any voting stations that have some form of untoward attention. I can tell you that according to the police minister yesterday, there is a bolstered number of police on the ground. In fact, just on this station, you'll see just behind us, they'll be passing. Police are here, but it's basically a checking of some of the voting stations to ensure that everything really is running according to plan. But what we will be seeing, Masejo, in the second day of the special voting is that some of the national leaders in the ANC as well as in many other parties will obviously be going back to their branches. This one is Ward 17, where we find Ubaba, the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, David Masondo. Baba, thank you so much for joining us. Give us a sense really of what you are doing here today. Give us a sense of really the work that went in here to ensure that this stronghold of the ANC remains.
Well, thank you very much to all the viewers, and we are very pleased. We are here in Ward 17 in Mbombela, in Nelspruit, and firstly, we must commend the Electoral Commission of South Africa. They are doing a very good job. I've just managed to cast my vote here. I'm with the Member of Parliament, Mr. Mbuyani, was also here to do a special vote with my wife. And I'm also with the leadership of the ANC and our ANC councillor candidate, Comrade Michael Sears. And we're here because the right to vote, it never came easy. And my universal suffrage, I had to come and exercise it here so that there should be no government that will claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. But more importantly, I'm pleased the number of areas I've visited in the province over the last few days where we interacted with the voters. They are very happy. They all want to come in big numbers, and we could see even today they're coming, and then tomorrow is the D-Day. And we're also very pleased about the reception the ANC has received. And people acknowledge that the ANC has done a lot over the last 27 years, but they've raised issues that, and we have admitted that indeed we are the first to admit that more needs to be done. The issues of unemployment here, the issues of crime, but issues of basic service delivery like water, sanitation, housing, including issues of roads. These are some of the issues that are being attended to. But I'm very pleased with the level of tolerance that have been seen amongst political parties, and also the role that the security cluster is playing just to ensure that the elections are conducted in an environment of peace and tranquility. And we hope that as the day has started well, we should be able to finish well, so that at least in the next few days when the IEC has concluded its task, we will be in a position to constitute the councillors so that they can get down to work. As the ANC were very confident here in Mbombela, the ANC will retain its majority, but more importantly, the ANC will still be able to take the district of Ehlanzeni so that at least we can continue with the work of building better communities here.
Yeah. You touched on some of the service delivery issues that would arise at this time. Obviously, people saying that there is a lot that still needs to be done. Government as well conceding, yourself conceding right now. But it's really sad that people are still without water. As a deputy minister in the Water and Sanitation Department, you find that horrid pictures are coming from provinces such as Limpopo, and even here. We are in Mbombela, where there is no such issue, but in the outskirts of Mbombela, there are still those issues remaining. What do you say to the constituencies, to the voters that are out there that are saying after 27 years, we don't have proper sanitation, we don't have water, and yet we are supposed to vote tomorrow? What is a message from the Department of Water and Sanitation to say that this is a solution that will bring forth, because it has been 27 years?
Well, His Excellency the President has understood and appreciated the importance of water. That's why he has decided that the water ministry should be a standalone, led by His Excellency Comrade Senzo Mchunu. But more importantly, you have to imagine now there are three people that are leading the department, and we've been visiting a number of provinces. What we want to say, we will spare no effort working with provincial government and local municipalities to deliver that issue of water. And we must be able to indicate that we are also worried. We regret the inconvenience where certain communities continue to have no water. But our plans is that in those outskirts, yesterday I was in Mbuzini, we have spoken them, and we are supporting that municipality that in the meantime, let them protect the springs. Let's use groundwater as an option to provide while we are developing infrastructure. Here in Mbombela, we are about to build a dam in the confluence where you come from Machadatopo, that so that water can be delivered, including the other issues that we have to note. The communities has expanded and the economy has grown. What we have made is not to match those growth in population size and with the investment in infrastructure. That's why His Excellency President Ramaphosa, in the centrality of the economic reconstruction and recovery plan, infrastructure is at the center, whether is it water, power generation, transport, telecoms, and investing in skills. But more importantly, this time around, we are sending men and women that have moral integrity and also ability, because the ANC cannot continue to have public representatives that sleep on the job and make the ANC to be in conflict with the people. That's why they are signing a pledge. The ANC will monitor them, so that at least there should be no community that is made to be subjected to these conditions.
Yeah, just very last one. We are out of time. In terms of crisscrossing the country and looking at the issues, the consolidated information, what does it tell you? When will this water crisis be sorted out in South Africa, really?
Well, what we have is that we have a water and sanitation master plan for the country. And at the very same time, President has decided to put an infrastructure master plan for South Africa. That has a horizon of 2030, 2040, and 2050. And you could see there's a mobilization of resources, big infrastructure projects running into billions of rands. We are going around under the leadership of the President and Minister Mkhunu to mobilize the resources, because at the end of the day, we need to be able to invest. But more importantly, there are those communities that continue to waste water. We lose water in the system. We'll have to be able to deal with the water leaks and fix all the infrastructure, because in other areas water is polluted. You could see in the Val everywhere. We have to be able to ensure that we stop pollution, but we also do reuse and recycling, because that's what we need to do.
I'm sorry, I'm really out of time, but you said a plan, a master plan that is going into 2030, 2040 and 2050. Does that mean that there'll still be people without water during those times?
Well, what we'll do is that there will be phases in which that by 2030 there's a target that at least 90% of South Africans must have access to water and sanitation services by 2040, 2050, because the country must plan ahead so that at least we don't make the same mistake where the economy grows, the population grows, but the investment in infrastructure is not being matching that particular point. We are addressing that ability of government to plan, but more importantly also the government ability to implement major projects, have good project managers, contract managers and engineers. So today is no major project that is going to be actually done by government running out of budget escalations and corruption, but more importantly, not finishing timelessly.
All right, thank you so much, Mkhulu. That is the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, but just giving us that master plan to say that they are in phases trying to sort out the issue of water. But I think the biggest takeaway is that this plan says in 2030, 90% of people in South Africa should have access to water. But unfortunately, even for myself, as I digest some of that information, it's still not good enough 27 years later. But of course, they are here in their capacity as members of the ANC, coming to vote for the ANC, but essentially saying that they are, encouraged that voting is happening smoothly. But one of the things they are saying is that as the ANC, they do have some plans in terms of actually sorting out some of the issues they are met with every time they go into these communities. We'll be catching up, obviously, with other political parties that are voting agents to get a sense, really, of some of their responses around some of these issues and many more.
All right, thank you very much. That's Kgosi out in Mbombela. In Mpumalanga, we also had Pule Letshwiti-Jones in Centurion.